Hello everybody, welcome to another Adobe Illustrator tutorial. Today we're going to keep it brief. We're not actually going to be making anything today. This is just going to be an introduction to the interface that is Illustrator for people who have never opened Illustrator before or have only opened it once or twice and are feeling overwhelmed. Sorry if there's any audio missteps. I'm still getting used to recording, so please bear with me. So anyway, let's get started. If you open Illustrator, you should see something pretty similar to this right here. It might be a little bit different. For example, if it's your first time opening it, you probably won't see much down here. This is my recent projects, and this is where your recent projects will be displayed as you work in Illustrator. So it'll be pretty empty, I'm assuming. But you can sort your recent projects once you start making things right up here. As you can see right now, they're sorted by kind. Normally, they're actually sorted by recent, but I was testing recording a few times and changed it, and it looks like it saved the setting. But you can sort in a couple different ways. You can sort recent, you can sort by name, which is in reverse alphabetical, so early letters here, late letters up here. You can also sort by file size, and that's just a couple ways that you can find recent projects that you've been working on. Up here, right front and center is just going to be a couple of templates that you can choose from. If you're getting started, some very common sizes. These are just basically the sizes of the canvas or the artboard that you'll be working with. A4 is like a standard sheet of office paper. You got a postcard here. Web large, which is basically a computer monitor, a ratio, iPhone, HDTV, and then custom if you want to have a custom one. I'm pretty sure this will open a very similar window to the create new. This is where I usually go when I'm in Illustrator. I'll just go to create new file, and then there's open if you want to open a file that's not down here in the recents, like an older file. So we're going to click create new, and up here it's going to open a window with a bunch of different canvas sizes. There might be less for you since you first started. There still will probably be something here. And we have tabs up here for other templates, just like we have up here in the front. We have all kinds of mobile options for different models of phones, iPads, iPhones, Google Pixel, Surface, Nexus, all that good stuff for web. More templates for large web, regular web, MacBook, all this good stuff. Print, film, video, art, illustration. So if you're looking for a specific size, or some kind of professional template, it'll probably be in here somewhere. Or if you know the measurements, you can always create it yourself right here on the side. Here you can set your custom size to whatever you want. Hello. You know, like, I don't know, 1080 by, what is that, 900 usually? 900 shows you how much I'd do that. 720, whatever. You can do landscape or portrait orientation here. You can choose how many artboards if you want to make more than one canvas. Bleed if you're into printing. If you're not printing, you probably won't need these options very much. You got color mode, raster effects, all that good stuff. I'm usually going to go with this square template right here. That's usually what I start. Pixel size doesn't really matter. If you're just doing a vector art, that's not a full square, like for printing and stuff like that. It's just going to be like an individual piece of art. So let's create a new file. Hopefully it loads quick enough. I'm on. Sorry, my computer isn't the greatest when I'm trying to record as well. So this is going to bring up the canvas here. And yeah, we're just going to get used to what you're looking at right now. So we have our canvas here. This is 1,000 pixels by 1,000. And this is where you're going to be making all your art right here in the center. But what else do we have here? We have our toolbar. The toolbar is going to have all the tools you need to make your art, where you can make like shapes. You can draw with the pen tool, paint with different kind of brushes. Rotate your art, eraser, all kind of good stuff. We're not going to really go into that today. This is just going to be getting you used to the layout. Up top, we're going to have our typical menu like most applications have. There's like a file for creating new files, edit for editing the file settings, And then on the right, we're going to have our tabs, the property tab being probably the most important. So let's go more in depth on what these things do. Let me just take a look at my script here. So yeah, we can go up top. Let's just start with the menu here. Like I said, file, if you're used to using other applications, it's a lot of the same stuff. For other graphic software, you can create new file, save, you can export as different file types, you can change your document setups, all that good stuff. Edit, you can paste, copy, and cut different objects in your artwork. You can find them by typing, edit colors, color settings, my settings, preferences. Preferences is an important one, and that's different ways to interact with your art and your documents. And we have objects for selecting different objects in your artwork, and you can do all kinds of different things. You can transform, rotate, change sizes, arrange, align, group different art together. You don't have to worry too much about what this stuff does right now, but just kind of show you all the different options that you'll have. Options for different shapes and blending and distorting, pretty much anything you can imagine. Type for text, if you're doing any kind of text and document work. Selecting, different ways to select different art that's like on top of each other, below each other. Different colors, same colors. All different kinds of effects for your art. If you want to add like blur, you can distort, you can have all kinds of like artsy effects. You can, make like a mosaic, or you can make it look like a sketch or like a, pencil drawing or painting, all kinds of different stuff for your brush strokes and your shapes. Different ways to view. Probably the most important thing here is like the different grid settings. If you need something to be very specific measurements and look very clean and with straight lines, then you can have a grid and you can have it snap to grid and all that good stuff. And then windows have different windows for just about everything. There's like almost a window for every tool, and there's windows for all kinds of aspects of basically anything you can imagine. Different swatches for color profiles and brushes and all that stuff. But that's just a brief overview of what you can find up here. You're not going to be using this very often because a lot of the stuff that you need is going to be on the left or on the right, and you can open them different ways from there. Next is going to be the toolbar. Like I said, we're not going to go too into the specifics for any of the tools, but just so you know, this is going to be basically everything that you need to make your masterpiece from start to finish. And we'll go over each and every one of these in future tutorials. But then in the tabs side over here, we're going to have the property tab, which is probably the most important tab. So as you can see right now, with nothing selected, it has a lot of attributes related to the document itself and the artboard itself, ruler guides, snap options. But if you'll keep your eyes over here, as I select different tools, now the pointer tool doesn't really do anything, but if I do the pen tool, as you can see, the properties tab is actually very contextual, and now it's all related to the pen tool. We've got our fill, we've got our stroke thickness, we've got opacity, all kinds of attributes related to the pen tool. If you go to, what else we have, the type tool. If you bring that up, sorry if it takes a second, but now we also have, now the stroke will relate to the letters that we type and the opacity, but now we also have fonts, font style, we have the kerning, did I say font size? Yeah, we have like the kerning, the line spacing, we have the justification, left justified, align centered, all that good stuff. So the properties tab is usually going to be related to your different tools. It'll also have a lot of color attributes if you're trying to choose different colors and stuff like that. So we're going to do something real quick right here. We're actually going to just make a couple shapes. So we have our shapes tool right here, or more specifically the rectangle tool right now. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to make a couple squares. Follow along with me if you can, but you don't have to. And then I'm just going to make these two different colors. Let's try to make it a little fun. Not just black and white. Why isn't that working? All right, now we're gonna do pink or red for this one. This is going to be to demonstrate the layers tab. So as you can see right now, our squares are slightly overlapping in our artwork. And over here, we're gonna have the layers tab. So the layers tab basically creates different layers of artwork. Some on top of each other, others, some below others. And if you want to make a new layer, you can actually press this little button down here, and that's going to create a new layer. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to select this pink square that's on top, and right click. If I go to arrange, and I click the new layer, go to arrange and send to current layer. As you can see now in this little preview picture, each square is now in a different layer. So what I can actually do now is I can grab that layer and I can drag it below the blue. As you can see, now the blue is overlapping the pink. I can do that again. Now the pink's on top, blue. So this is, as you can see, this doesn't really do much right now, but as you can imagine, if you had thousands of pieces in your artwork and you needed them to be in different layers and you wanted to work on them individually, you can do that in the layers tool and make that a lot easier. Some options for the layers tool, if you wanted to make some not visible, it would probably help better if you made the blue not visible. So now I have full access to the entire pink shape, and then I could do the same to the other. And then we also have this blank square right here, which doesn't look like it does anything, but if you click it, it actually locks that layer, so you can no longer interact with it. And that makes it useful for selecting. No matter what I do, I can't select the blue shape. And that makes it a lot easier to edit only in the layers that you want. That's just a brief introduction to the layer tool. I can make another tutorial more specific to layers if you'd like. But I just wanted to do at least an introductory explanation as to what the layers tab does. So yeah, this is a pretty short video, but I just wanted to show you guys what the basic layout was like. So when we start getting into the nitty gritty, you don't feel too overwhelmed with how things are. Oh, one thing I almost forgot, workspaces. So if we go in a window, one thing I wanted to show you guys is there are multiple workspaces. What we're looking at right now is a workspace, and really all that is just a layout of how the tabs, the tools, and the menus are laid out. This is the Essentials workspace, I believe. Where am I? Window, workspace, Essentials. So this is going to be like the basic layout when you first install it. There's other layouts that are more specific to different industries. There's a painting, there's a tracing, there's a typography, there's a web. I might show you one of these, but I don't want to flip through a bunch of them and like confuse you with too much stuff. But yeah, and you can also make your own custom layout. As you can see, painting, of course, we've got all these color options, stroke options for people who like to do digital painting. And it kind of makes that workflow a little more efficient. If you ever want to change the workspace back to default, you just go to Windows, Workspace, Essentials. And sorry, it might take a minute. And so yeah, so that's workspaces, that's layout, that's the Adobe Illustrator application. If you have any questions, please comment. And if you like this video, please like. If you dislike this video, please dislike. And if you want to see future tutorials, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye now.